What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is the Blacklist, Season 4, Episode 7, Dr. Adrian Shaw, Part 1, because next week is the conclusion. And it's brilliant setup for a two-part episode, because this whole time, I was wondering what they were going to do after last week's episode. Kirk is now in the FBI's possession, so it feels like he's kind of done. He's stopped for good. It didn't feel like, maybe his organization would try to come get him, which obviously they do, but it was kind of a question of what's the point now? It felt like he'd kind of given himself up. He kind of admitted the fact that he's beaten. So I don't know, it felt sort of like this story may be ending. And as we start to get into this episode, it's kind of a question of so many mysteries, not really sure where it's going, but ultimately some questions get answered. So let's talk about the episode. First of all, you've got the FBI working with Reddington to get this guy named the coroner. Apparently Reddington wants to get to the coroner to find the identity of a criminal, a doctor that we saw working on some people. Apparently she may have the answers to how to treat Kirk's condition. And that's pretty much the FBI story. It ends with, Reddington. It ends with Reddington getting this Adrian Shaw and taking her to this laboratory. I'm kind of curious to see why. Part of me thinks, obviously the FBI is thinking, oh, Reddington's a bad guy, so obviously he wants to get to this doctor to kill her so she can't treat Kirk. I don't think that's it. Personally, I think he actually wants to cure Kirk. I don't know why. I don't know why he'd want to keep him alive, but I don't think he wants to kill the doctor. And taking her to this lab sort of furthers that idea that he wants to help Kirk. Maybe he wants to keep him alive so he can be brought to justice for everything he's done. Maybe he wants to keep him alive for Liz's sake, so she can ask questions about her mom. Maybe he wants to keep him alive so he can get the information to all of the people that he runs, all of those people. Maybe he wants to get all the information for that. I don't know. But for whatever reason, I believe he wants to keep Kirk alive. That's why he got to this doctor first, to give her the resources to do it. So that's all going on over there. Meanwhile, we have Kirk passing out in confinement. They take him to a hospital, and they're doing tests on him, realize that he's pretty much done for. This last blood transfusion will pretty much be the last one. After this, there's no way back from it. At this point, he's pretty much a dead man because they can't treat him anymore after this. So Liz finally decides, okay, I'm his relative, I'm going to treat him. And we find out she has the test done, the people come in with the test, and she's not his daughter. Which is very interesting to me, because, not just because, the DNA test said that she was his daughter. I figured if she turned out to not be his daughter, that those would have just been faked. I mean, it's easy to do that. So it was kind of a question of, is she or is she not? That was the constant question going on. I felt like at this point, it kind of, it was a matter of life and death. She wants to get the test done because they have to prove that she's a relative to donate him the blood to, whatever. And so it's interesting. It's interesting to see that because of all of this, because of the fact that she tried to save him, that's how she finds out. It was well handled too. I could kind of see it coming whenever they came in. She was just about to get surgery done. They had her prepped, so as soon as the test came back, if it said she was a relative, they'd be able to do the surgery quickly. The setup, I could kind of understand, was leading to, I'm not your daughter. But it was still such a brilliant little, this entire season has been a brilliant little setup to this one moment where it's finally confirmed. This is not some past DNA test. This is not some, we got the results from some sketchy. No, this is at a hospital, regular doctors, DNA test proof positive, she's not his daughter. And ultimately, what this means, it changes a lot of things, in my opinion. First of all, we now know that it's likely Reddington that is her father, because it's been made very clear that Reddington and her mother had an affair going on. So I think this is made clear that Reddington is her father. On top of that, now that Kirk knows that she's not his daughter, now he feels like, first of all, I wonder what he's going to do, because she was kind of his last chance to survive. So the fact that she's not his daughter kind of means he has no more place. He has no other place to go. That was pretty much it. He needed a relative. He needed somebody with same blood type. All of that stuff. So the fact that she's not his daughter means that now she's disposable, but also it means that he's kind of done. Like he should be. Obviously, Reddington's got something in the works, so he may not be dead. But in his mind, he's got to be thinking, well, that's it. I'm dead. I have no daughter. I have no granddaughter. I must be a dead man. So I wonder what his. I feel like he may go out in a blaze of glory type thing, just because he's got nothing to live for. So I'm curious to see what this is going to do to him. But like Reddington says to Liz, now she's in danger because of this. She's in danger because now he doesn't need her anymore, and because she's kind of the offspring of Reddington's betrayal of him. I feel like that's going to breed even more hate into Liz, so I think he may decide to try to kill Liz at this point. But overall, I mean, this episode was a really good setup. It ends on a cliffhanger where we see all of Kirk's men gearing up, ready to go, ready to pretty much kill everybody in the hospital to get him out of there. So it's an interesting setup. I like the fact that it was very subtle in the way that it's set up. Of course, because I've watched this show so much, I know nothing happens by chance in these scenarios. So as soon as the bus crash came in, I'm thinking, okay, this is obviously a setup by Kirk's men. Like this would not just randomly happen at the same time Kirk just happens to be in this hospital. This has to be a setup. So I think it's partially because I've been conditioned by the show to think this way. As soon as I heard about the bus crash, my mind instantly went to, that's Kirk's men. It wasn't a real bus crash. And sure enough, we see some of the people that came in to be treated at the hospital. They start gearing up guns and stuff, ready to take out everybody. So it's a nice little setup for next episode. It's really interesting to see, will they be able to keep Kirk? Will they be able to fight off Kirk's men? Will Reddington get there in time? Will anybody die in the process? Anybody important? Because we've already lost Liz once. Once again, like I said in that episode, you kill her off, you lose your main character, you don't really have much of a show after that. So I don't think she will, but there's a possibility Tom might. Cooper's in there too, so he's vulnerable. And, who knows, Wrestler and Navabi may show up late, and one of them happens to get caught in the crossfire. Who knows? And I'm kind of curious to see just how far they're willing to go with this show. Because we saw in the first season when they killed off the one lady whose name I forget now, but she was CIA working now with the FBI, and it was like second to last episode, and she just goes into a club following this guy, and then all of a sudden the guy just slits her throat, and just kind of came out of nowhere. It's like they just killed her off. She was a main character this entire season. They killed her off. What the heck? And then when they brought in Samara, it was like, okay, so they brought a replacement for her. So it's interesting to see. It's interesting to see what the writers are going to do, what this show is going to do with its characters. If they're willing to kill anybody off, if anything bad is going to happen to these characters, I'm curious. It's a good setup. It's got a lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue. There's still some questions that are completely unanswered. Like we still don't know anything about Liz's mom. I don't know why I keep forgetting her name. It's Liz, Elizabeth Keene, whatever. But we still don't know anything about her mom. We don't know why some things in her memory don't match up with reality. We don't know a lot of that stuff. We don't know exactly what Kirk's plans are now that he doesn't have a relative to give him blood. We don't know what Reddington's plans are with this doctor. So a lot of good mysteries set up for the second episode. This was a really good episode on its own too. There's a lot of good character moments. Reddington has probably been at his most Reddington-esque this entire season in this episode. I mean, so many just good moments. He's in the doctor's office and he's looking at highlights for kids and looking at the picture that's got the hidden objects inside, and he's finding them all. And then Dembe finds the last one. He's like, "Oh, come on! Why did you do that?" And just, it was so funny. And there's so many good moments. Moment between him and Wrestler where he's saying, "Look, you got the corner out there. Take the win, Donald." And just really, really good. It felt like it was a return for Reddington in this episode because he's been very distant. He's been kind of grim this season with everything going on with Kirk. So it was nice to see he's back at his cheeriest. He's back in his being James Spader, pretty much. You know, James Spader just has this charisma about him that whenever he starts talking, you want to listen to hear what he's got to say, even if some of it sounds like complete bullshit. It still sounds like really fun, inventive stuff that's coming out of his mouth, even if it is complete bullshit. So, really enjoyed this episode. The only thing that they didn't have in it was, of course, what's going on with Mr. Kaplan, which I don't really mind because it's been pretty weird how they've been incorporating all of that in the past few episodes. Like, just random little clips of her in this cabin with this weird, perverted guy, just with a dog. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. They didn't show us anything of that this episode, so maybe it'll come back next half of the season. But either way, looking forward to next week. Looking forward to see how it's going to all wrap up with this Dr. Adrian Shaw. So yeah, looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What you like and dislike about this episode. Let me know. We can talk about, discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Blacklist reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.